Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse, and today I want to talk about Warhawk Tanzania. That's right, Warhawk Tanzania. Not only the man you see on my favorite shirt I'm wearing right now, but also a mythic figure from the mid-70s Blaxploitation / Kung Fu / action movie scene. Picture, if you will, a mix between Commodore's era Lionel Richie and Jim Kelly. Matter of fact, he was clearly being groomed as the next Jim Kelly in the Blaxploitation martial arts world, but it just wasn't meant to be. With only 2 movies to his name, 1975's Force 4 and the one I want to talk about today, which is 1976 Devil's Express, also known as Gang Wars. This wild Blaxploitation / Kung Fu / zombie horror mashup is where Mr. Tanzania truly shines. In it, he plays karate master Luke Curtis, known to his student as Sifu or Seafood, if you're hard of hearing.
You should have been there, Sifu.
He and his buddy Rodan ditched the grimy streets of New York City for a spiritual trip to China. While there, Rodan steals an ancient amulet that keeps an evil spirit trapped within its tomb. Now freed, the demon possesses a host and follows the pair back to New York City in search of the stolen amulet, lurking in the subways and leaving a trail of mutilated victims behind. The Raiders ignite a gang war between the kung fu kicking Red Dragons and the ghetto gang, the Black Spades, which is Rodan's crew. Can 2 street cops stop the carnage, or will Sifu have to step in, clean up Rodan's mess, and put this undead nightmare to rest himself? If, like me, you hear about a movie that's a mix of horror, martial arts, and blaxploitation, and in your mind that sounds like movie trash heaven, right? Then you are in for some kind of treat. So let me give you a quick and dirty rundown before you drop whatever it is you're doing right now and invest 82 minutes of your life soaking in Devil's Express. We open in 200 BC China. A bunch of monks bury a demon, slap an amulet on his coffin to keep him sealed, and then all sacrifice themselves. Now that's dedication to your job. Fast forward 2,174 years later to 1975, where we first meet Luke, a.k.a. Sifu or Seafood, and his student / cop Chris, played by Larry Fleischman, who will be the cop later on trying to figure out all them murders, and his friend Rodan, played by Wilfred Roldan, who also co-starred with Warhawk in Force 4 with the same character name, but different character. I guess they didn't want to spend too much brain power coming up with a new character name. These crazy sons of bitches head to China on a retreat to do some karate, a good 5 minutes of it. Also, look at that, so inclusive, having a woman in the mix. After that, they do some meditation, some light cave robbing, and then we're back to New York. That light cave robbing wakes up the demon, who hops aboard the next ship from Hong Kong to New York, body jacks some random dude, and comes off the boat all bug-eyed. And just the painting of the eyes, it's a beautiful makeup job, really simple, reminding me of the zombies in Sugar Hill. Also, we get some masterful emoting work from this actor. From there, we follow him as he finds refuge in the New York City subway system, the 135th Street station in Harlem to be exact. Rodan, being the rascal that he is, goes back to his usual business as a drug dealer. He buys some coke that looks especially tasty from an Asian seller, and of course gets attacked by the Red Dragons, retaliating from an earlier incident that was mentioned but never shown. Then it's time for Warhawk Tanzania, loverman extraordinaire, getting his groove on with his soul sister who isn't allowed to say anything, or for us to find out who she really is.
I want to share my every treasure with you.
She's just there for his peen and some eye candy for us. Fashion forward as he is, Rodan wears the amulet around his neck, which acts as a beacon for the demon. The demon gets closer, shedding the random Hong Kong guy to reveal its true self, giving us a bit of gore and horror. And then we get some kung fu action as the 2 gangs clash until one of the Red Dragons recognizes the amulet and bolts. 40 minutes in, we finally get Chris the cop on the case. He and his partner are called on the scene of the mutilated corpse of the Hong Kong guy in the subway, then another and another. One of these bodies is found by a crazy bag lady wandering through a subway car hassling commuters until she discovers him with his head missing. Another bit of cheap-looking gore that's kind of fun. It's a 70s exploitation movie, so of course the threat or reality of rape inevitably comes into play, but this time the demon actually does some good by sparing this woman and, in a twisted way, doing the world a favor.
Help me! Somebody! Somebody help me!
The Red Dragons and the Black Spades clash again, and Rodan runs from the scene, ending up, wouldn't you know it, at the 135th Street subway station, where he comes face to face with the demon and his ultimate fate. And that's when Luke, a.k.a. Sifu, a.k.a. Seafood, after being absent from the screen for far too long, is on the case, trying to figure out who did this.
It's time for me to take a trip downtown and settle this once and for all.
He takes on the Red Dragons all by himself, showing off his karate mastery, which leads to an epic finale, a subway tunnel showdown as the demon uses mindfuckery to try to win against Luke, a.k.a. Seafood, a.k.a. Seafood.
Show your food!
Now, after all of this, would I recommend Devil's Express? I absolutely would. Is it good? Not by any sane metric, but it's a scrappy little B-movie that mashes up horror, martial arts, and blaxploitation and fails at all three in the most entertaining way possible. And I am able to overlook the many flaws because the premise and the idea behind it are genuinely intriguing. Sure, it's technically inept. The editing's a mess, half the dialogue's buried under blaring music, and you're left reading lips to figure out what the hell is anyone saying, but honestly, whatever. I thought those conversations were worth hearing anyway. It's poorly written, which is kind of impressive considering 5 different writers are credited. Each one probably wrote a different movie and somehow they mash it all into this one. In a movie like this, the one thing you would think they would work on are the fight scenes. And pretty much they're all laughable. We get all that street fighting and the choreography is slow, sloppy, and repetitive. You can see every punch and kick missed by a mile while the sound effects try their hardest to sell it. Also, the sound of the sword slashing the air every time, I love that shit. Added to all of that, you have a man possessed by a demon wandering around with painted bug eyes and Warhawk Tanzania's impeccable fashion sense, rocking a 2-tone blue denim bell-bottom outfit or that show-stopping gold velour jumpsuit that only a real man could pull off. And speaking of Warhawk, it's a shame this would-be star vehicle never made him the star I'm sure he wanted to be. After this, he literally dropped off the face of the earth. I tried finding info on the man, used all the AIs, and not a trace. Did he even exist? Who knows? It's like he's full of riz and none at the same time. Quite the contradiction. He's got a majestic afro, epic 70s sideburns, an amazing voice, and great screen presence, but he's a lot of sizzle and no steak. He's not a bad actor, but there's never a moment where he truly pops off the screen, never a moment where he really shines. The rest of the cast is what you expect from a movie like this, actors with full-on New York attitude, especially the cop who feels like he belongs in a different and better movie. But we do get a special appearance by 70s weirdo comedian Brother Theodore, who you might remember as Uncle Ruben Klopecht in The Burbs, playing a priest who just shouts nonsense about the end of time.
Muhammad is dead, Buddha is dead, and I'm not feeling so hot myself.
Every now and then they nail the creepy vibe, especially in those subway tunnel scenes. The sound design and music carry a lot of weight. In fact, that's probably the part I dug the most. Sometimes it's got this droney kind of score with a heartbeat mixed in, then suddenly it turns into a really funky score. If I had the resources, I'd start a record label just so I could get a copy of that on vinyl. The other thing I dug about Devil's Express is that it's pure 70s New York City porn. What I mean by that is we're out on the streets, walking and driving around. We even get shots of 42nd Street marquees. We're on subway platforms and inside tunnels, which I'm sure someone on the production had connections to pull that off. So yeah, this movie is a nice time capsule if you're in that kind of thing, which clearly I am. If you're in it for the horror, only about 10% of the movie is about the demon, which is fully revealed at the end, and honestly, it's somewhat decent. The remaining 90% is about the gang war, who's doing all the murdering, Warhawk being a martial arts teacher, man of the people, and lover man. Despite all my quibbles, I had a good time with Devil's Express, and I think you will too. And may I suggest you make a double feature night out of it with 1982's Raw Force, starring everyone's favorite Cameron Mitchell, another so bad it's good trashy genre hybrid, and one I should definitely review at some point. For fellow movie collectors out there, if you want to get in on Blu-ray, there's the 2017 Code Red / Ronin Flicks exclusive edition I've got here, and by exclusive I mean it came with a slipcover. There aren't any extra features of any kind, but the 2K scan of the original negatives is pretty solid. There's also the 2021 standard edition you can grab on Amazon, but if you don't care to own it, it is streaming on Tubi, and I'll put the link in the description. So this was my take on Devil's Express. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up so I can get more visibility out there. Subscribe if you haven't, that does help too. Share your thoughts on Devil's Express in the comments and tell me what is your favorite 70s genre hybrid movie film. The weirder, the better. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.